coming to you again with another Blazing Sports Report. Talking about NFL Week 9. I'm here with my man Josh Bryan. We're going to cover, in my opinion, the top 6 games in the NFL this week. We're starting off with Buffalo and New York. The reason this game is so important. Buffalo, we all know, 5-2 record, coming off of a victory this past week. The thing is, Buffalo has a poor defense. They have a great offense, great rushing attack with Fred Jackson in the backfield. But on the defensive side of the ball, they've given up a lot of points, given up a lot of yards. Granted, they do score with their defense, but they take too many risks on the defensive end. On the flip side with the New York Jets, what we have here is a team with a horrible offense. Can't pass the ball, can't run the ball. Something's got to give in this one. Either the defense for the Buffalo Bills will show up, or Mark Sanchez will be able to do something against this horrible defense. Now, I'm going to go to you, Josh. We know Mark Sanchez is supposedly the quarterback for this New York Jets team, even though he's been inconsistent throughout his whole career. What do you think will be his main role in attacking the defense that can give up the big plays? We know Plaxico Burress caught 3 touchdowns last week against his, not last week, but the previous week against the San Diego Chargers. I mean, what do you think will be the main role with Mark Sanchez going up against this team?
If they are smart, they will, even though they can't run the ball, they will not let Mark Sanchez throw it. This Buffalo secondary picked off Tom Brady 4 times. Arguably the greatest quarterback ever.
That's your opinion.
I said arguably.
That's your opinion. I can't co-sign on that one. Continue.
What do you think they're going to do to Mark Sanchez if they did that to Tom Brady?
I mean, this is the thing. Mark Sanchez, we know he's inconsistent. His completion rate has increased over the years, but at the same time, as I look at this game, I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for him to shine his light or show that he can be an NFL quarterback. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but at the same time, you're saying he's a bad quarterback.
Yes.
So he's a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call him a bad quarterback. I'm going to call him inconsistent. He needs to find some consistency. He has weapons. Last year they had the run game. They don't have that this year. This year they brought in some receivers. They re-signed Santonio Holmes. They still got Revis on the secondary, but he's not going to help him out on offense. He can give him better position on the ball, but that's about it. If the Jets do win this, they could pull within a first-place tie if New England loses.
That's a big if.
That's a big if. I mean, granted, New England is playing a pretty good team in the Giants this week. They go to New York. But if the Jets can pull this off, we know they're on the roll, they run 2 straight. Granted that the Jets are at home, I'm going to give this one to the Jets.
I give it to Buffalo. Last week, Buffalo sacked Washington's quarterback, like, what was it, 9 times?
I think it was 9 times, yeah.
Their pass rush is getting better, and their secondary scores. They pick people off. They can't pass and they can't throw, the Jets. I mean, they can't pass and they can't run. Darrelle Revis can't score like 3 touchdowns. Ryan Fitzpatrick is playing pretty good. He ain't gonna pick off. He ain't gonna throw like 3 pick sixes or something. I give this one to Buffalo, and I think it's gonna be kind of a blowout.
You think it's gonna be a blowout?
I think it's gonna be a blowout.
I think it's gonna be closer than people think. Like I said, the Jets offense is starting to click a little bit, but who knows? We don't know yet.
I'm gonna put it to like a game of mousetrap.
All right, mousetrap. We got a first board game reference of the day. All right, let's go to the second game here. We got Tampa Bay, New Orleans. New Orleans coming off the surprising defeat at the hands of the St. Louis Rams, who had A.J. Feely as a starting quarterback for the team, who got the win. Even though it wasn't all him, Steven Jackson did get 159 yards on the ground. Tampa Bay coming off the game in London against the Bears. LeGarrette Blount, they're saying he may or may not play. We don't know yet. New Orleans has been giving up yards to big running backs. They can't stop the bigger running backs. When it comes to the smaller running backs, they can contain them a little bit. But with the bigger backs, they can run through the middle of that defense that New Orleans has. as I look at this, you got Garrett Blunt. He may play, may or may not play. Falcons are on the rise right now, so the NFC South is getting a little bit tighter. Tampa Bay and Atlanta are both 4-3 right now. With New Orleans at 5-3, they lose this game, we're going to have virtually a three-way tie at the top of the division, in which anybody can still win, because you know that Carolina could still win a couple more games. They could be a factor into this. What used to be regarded as one of the top divisions in the NFC South is now looking a little weak. Nobody expected Atlanta to have the slow start that they have right now. But can the Saints rebound, especially Drew Brees, after you got to consider the week before throwing, 5 touchdowns against, granted it was the Colts, but he still threw 5 touchdowns. The defense is just as bad as the Colts in St. Louis. Do you think Drew Brees can rebound against this Tampa Bay defense?
Yes, I think he can. One note about the Colts in general, Peyton Manning is the MVP this year. You know why? Because without him, a perennial Super Bowl contender has gone to
straight to hell.
Yes.
There's no other way you put it. In terms of football hell, that's where the Indianapolis Colts are. We're going to get into them a little bit later. I have another thing with them. Continue.
But Drew Brees is just too explosive. He can score at any time. And what's their tight end's name?
For who?
For the Saints. In this,
the unknown guy. God, I can't think of his name. They just did an ESPN feature on him. I can't think of him right now.
It's like his second year, and he's like leading
Jimmy
the team.
Graham. I think that's his name. Jimmy Graham. There you go.
And he's leading the team in receptions, a tight end. He has too many weapons. Do they get Mark Ingram back?
Mark Ingram, he's still doubtful for this game.
It doesn't matter. Pretty much this is going to come down to who can outscore who. Tampa Bay against New Orleans. Josh Freeman can outscore Drew Brees, in my opinion.
And Josh Freeman has been struggling as of late. I mean, when they went to London, the Chicago Bears, they did shut him down pretty handily.
Those Bears are coming up.
The Bears are coming up. I mean, they got the Monday nighter against Philly.
Watch out, Detroit.
But when it comes to this game, granted that New Orleans is at home, I'm going to give them the advantage. I don't think that rushing attack will falter the way they did against the St. Louis Rams, because you got to remember they only combined for like 48 yards, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that this will come back. This Drew Brees will be able to bounce back against this Tampa Bay team. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
I think the Saints are going to win. It pretty much comes down to who can outscore who, and Drew Brees can outscore Josh Freeman any day of the week. Okay.
Now we're going to move on to another team. I mean, every week it seems like there's a team no one's talking about. The last video I made, I said it was the San Francisco 49ers. No one was talking about them. They're a team at 6-1 right now, if I'm not mistaken. The same thing that the San Francisco 49ers are doing, this team, the Cincinnati Bengals, are doing as well. They're stopping the run. Tennessee, they gave Chris Johnson this contract. He has not lived up to the contract that he wanted. When you consider that the Tennessee Titans were arguably one of the best running backs in the league, are at the bottom of the league in rushing with 62 yards a game on the ground, I mean, it's kind of surprising how they have been able to win 4 games, if you ask me. Cincinnati, though, they're coming in. Andy Dalton is a rookie. A.J. Green is a rookie, but they're playing like pros. Like I said, the defense is shutting down the run. And with them having the second best run defense in all the NFL this year, they're going up against the team with the worst rushing attack in all of football right now in the Tennessee Titans. This is a chance for Cincinnati to move up in the division. They're 5-2 right now. They're tied with Baltimore. Depending on what happens with that Pittsburgh game,
they could move to second place.
They could be second place all alone, or perhaps eclipse and go into the first place spot. Who do you got winning this? Me personally, I think Cincinnati is going to win this. Who do you got?
I got Cincy too. A.J. Green, who's on my fantasy team, is having a great year. Andy Dalton, second-round quarterback pick, having a great year. In some people's opinion, better than Cam Newton because he has more wins.
Yeah.
I mean, this Cincinnati team, they lost T.O., they lost Ocho Cinco, they lost Carlson Palmer, This team wasn't expected to do anything this year,
Nothing.
and they're 5-2. They should be 6-1, but I'm gonna forget about that Broncos game. But yeah, I think Cincy, AJ Green, 3 touchdowns. Please give me 3 touchdowns this week.
Like I said, even though Tennessee is at home, they show flashes, but like I said, without a rushing attack, I don't think they'll be able to go too far. Moving on to the next game, the Giants and the Patriots. They're playing in the Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium. The Giants are a surprising 5-2 considering how they have looked as it relates to the season so far. When you look at this Giants team, Eli Manning, he's not the best quarterback. He's considered himself one of the elite quarterbacks.
He's playing like it this year.
He's playing like it this year. This year he has backed it up. But at the same time, he's going up against a team with one of the best offenses in the New England Patriots. Now, as great as this Patriots offense is,
Turn it over.
You turn to the other side of the ball. They're 9th against the run, but against a passing attack, they're,
Last.
Dead last. And as it comes to the pass, no, they're 28th.
For
They're 28th.
Who's worse
Hold on,
than
let me
that?
check. Let me look at my stats real quick. Hold on. They can throw out the backfield. Okay, Giants are 28th in run defense. But the Patriots are bottom when it comes to total yards and passing yards. This can be a coming out game for Eli Manning.
Could be.
When you consider that this Patriots team is giving up the most yards through the air, giving up the most yards total in all games, if Eli Manning doesn't come out here and show the world that he is the elite quarterback that he gave himself, something is wrong.
When you look at the 2 quarterbacks, Tom Brady and the lesser Manning, they're right behind Eli is like, 1 point behind Tom Brady, like the quarterback rating.
Mm-hmm.
They have the top front 4 in football, in my opinion.
It's big.
They're playing good. Eli isn't turning it over like that. And the Patriots, some people are like saying they cannot win unless their defense gets better. And I agree with that. But I have a feeling that the Patriots are starting to get angry with all this. They haven't won a playoff game in the last 3 years. They keep hearing that all the time. Eventually, there's only so much you can take before anger comes out. I mean, we haven't seen Tom Brady angry. We haven't seen the Patriots at all angry. I think this game they starting to get angry, especially after last week losing to Pittsburgh the way they did.
Pittsburgh handled them.
I think this week they come out and prove a point on defense.
On defense.
Devin McCourty had seven interceptions this year. He hasn't done that this year.
See, you can bring up one player and talk about his interception rate, but one player doesn't stop the ball.
I know.
You can spread the ball against this New England secondary, as suspect as it is. These young receivers that the Giants have, Manningham, Hakeem Nicks, they have been showing up. They still have a good rushing attack with Brandon Jacobs and Mar Bradshaw back there. But at the same time, it's all about consistency. Can they consistently pound the ball and mix it up? Because I'm not saying that Eli's going to go out here and throw for 450 yards against New England.
Have 1,000 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be that kind of game. I don't have that faith in Eli Manning, me personally. But at the same time, when you look at what they can do against that New England secondary, there's no excuses. They have the bigger receivers. The secondary for New England cannot get as physical with these guys as they would like to get. But when you look at the flip side of it, Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. He still has Wes Welker. That defense isn't as good as his Pittsburgh Steelers defense was that they played last week.
Plus, they got the 2 tight ends.
2 tight ends and Gronkowski and Hernandez. Hernandez is looking like he's healthy again. This can be a game that can be high scoring. This could be a 38-35 victory. I mean, for either side, who knows what can happen. When I look at it like that, both teams are 5-2. Both teams are looking to control their fate. Well, like I said, the Giants pretty much have their fate in their own hands. It's up to them to lose this lead. They're the only team above 500 in the NFC. What division are they? The NFC East. I'm going to give this one to the Giants. There's no excuse. You're at home. You're going to have a rowdy crowd with the Patriots coming in. Everybody loves to hate the Patriots. The secondary, you're a Tom Brady, you're a man crush on him is ridiculous right now. But I'm going to give this to the Giants. There should be no excuses right now. Eli Manning, you want to say you're an elite quarterback, this is your chance to prove it. A big stage, you got the Patriots. It's going to get national attention. Who do you got?
I got the Patriots, of course. But here's one reason why. Ocho Cinco.
You think Ocho Cinco is going to have a game?
Yes. What has he done so far? Absolutely nothing. So eventually people are going to start sagging off of him.
If you're going to bring Ocho Cinco into this conversation and still want to pick the Patriots to win this, apparently you haven't been watching football as much as we would like you to do. Because Ocho Cinco has been nothing less than an embarrassment to the National Football League.
He hasn't done nothing.
I mean, Ocho Cinco is my boy. I'm not hating on him. But when it comes to production on the field, it has not been there at all.
And that's the key. That's the key. I mean, really, there's no reason to really play that title on him. So one of these teams eventually is going to sag off on him, and that when it starts. That's what New England has been lacking, that deep threat. Someone eventually, one of these days, is going to sag off on Ocho Cinco, and that when it starts.
So you think that's going to be this week?
I think that's going to be this week. And that's just Eli Manning's luck. That's just his luck.
You think Eli Manning's luck is that bad to Ocho Cinco?
Yeah.
Chad Ocho Cinco.
Who was it going to happen to?
The man whose eyes were wide open while he was playing the game at how amazed he was in the opening weeks of how this Patriots. I don't.
If I played on Patriots, I'll be amazed too.
Oh my God. Anyway,
it's Tom Brady.
Oh my God. It's a Patriots defense against one of the best quarterbacks. I'm not even going to discuss this. Moving on to the next game. Green Bay and San Diego. San Diego's coming off 2 straight losses, both games in which they gave away. Poor clock management against the Jets. They allowed Plaxico Burress to come in and give 3 balls to his family. The only man to catch touchdowns on this team. You can't stop one man from catching touchdowns. And this is the sad part. The 3 passes that he caught were the only 3 points that they scored on offense, which is a very sad number. Then you go to the Kansas City game, in which Phillip Rivers, a man who plays under center more than anybody else, cannot grab a ball. Come on, man.
And the picks.
We're not even going to discuss the picks right now. When you look, they got the game. Kansas City came back, got the game in the overtime. The Chargers were making a drive. They figured out how to manage the clock this time. But you don't know how to hand the ball. This is what I'm saying. San Diego Chargers, they need to get their act together. Because they're coming up against a rested Green Bay Packer team. The Green Bay Packers are going to come in here. Aaron Rodgers is going to do what Aaron Rodgers does. That's carve up defenses. When I look at this right now, it's not that San Diego has a bad defense or that they have a particularly great offense. But they're not as bad as other teams in the NFL. But when you look at Aaron Rodgers, #1 scoring team in the Packers, the defense is but their rushing attack is non-existent. If they can find a way, the only thing that the Chargers have to do this game is focus on stopping the pass. When it comes to Aaron Rodgers, that's very hard to do. But you shut down Greg Jennings because Donald Driver hasn't done much. But Greg Jennings should be the key to this game. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I hate saying this, but Green Bay should, in all parts, win this game. There's no reason why they should lose this game. They have Aaron Rodgers. They have the receivers. They got the weapons. There's no reason why they should lose this game. Their defense isn't where it was last year, but
it's still a.
I wouldn't say this if Phillip Rivers was performing like he did last year. Phillip Rivers is not playing up to his usual excellent standards.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the man already has 9 interceptions this year.
I thought he was leading the league.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's up there in terms of interceptions. If it's not him, it's Cam Newton. It's one of those two, and that's sad when your interception rate as an elite quarterback, in this league,
It's higher than Tim Tebow's.
Oh my God, it's embarrassing. I mean, Tim Tebow gets sacked a lot. And we're not even going to discuss Tim Tebow,
but at least he doesn't turn it over.
Who everyone wanted to praise as God of football comebacks because of his fourth quarter rate. But Detroit shut him down last year. We're not even going to get into Tim Tebow. They play the Oakland Raiders this year, and Oakland should win that game. But back on the topic of this Green Bay defense, the linebackers are still there. A.J. Hawk, Clay Matthews. They lost Nick Barnett to the Bills. He's doing great things in Buffalo. But this team has looked suspect. Phillip Rivers can still get the ball out. He still has Malcolm Floyd, still has Vincent Jackson, still has Antonio Gates. All 3 of his key guys are back. The rushing attack with Ryan Matthews and I think it's Terrain, if I'm not mistaken. They should be able to get something going on the ground. At least move the ball a little bit. But Aaron Rodgers is rested. Aaron Rodgers was relaxing. He had a week off. Now he's back. I'm pretty sure he's going to be focused. Everybody said they're coming off the Super Bowl win, they wouldn't be focused, that they'd come in there, they'd drag on, what have you. Aaron Rodgers ain't going to allow that to happen. We've seen that so far this week. They're the only team undefeated in the NFL this year. It's pretty ridiculous right now. I don't see any team that's going to stop what these guys are doing right now. I'm going to pick Green Bay to get this in the blowout. The only reason this is a key game to me is to see if Phillip Rivers can bounce back from the horrible performances that he's had these past 2 weeks. Like I said, poor clock management against New York, the fumble ball against Kansas City. What is your prediction?
Green Bay. I fear that Green Bay is going to go undefeated this year because I've looked at their schedule. If I'm not mistaken, they have a pretty decent soft schedule for the rest of the year. Unless there's a couple of upsets or not, they should go undefeated. And right now, Phillip Rivers, the only chance that San Diego has winning is if Phillip Rivers can outscore Aaron Rodgers.
That's a tall task to try to outscore.
Last year's Phillip Rivers, that would be a tall task for. This year's Phillip Rivers, that's next to impossible.
Yeah, it's sad what's going on with Phillip Rivers right now. But like I said, Phillip Rivers, if you get this message, you need to understand you are an elite quarterback. You need to figure out something because right now what you're doing is just not working. Now we move on to the granddaddy of them all this week. The Sunday night game, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. It's in Pittsburgh. Everyone remembers the week 1 shellacking that Baltimore put on these Pittsburgh Steelers. They gave them a clinic on how to play defense. Ben Roethlisberger was in shock and awe at what was coming at him. Haloti Ngata lit him up. This team right here, this Baltimore team, a team that everybody wanted to write off as being too old. They don't have enough left in the tank right now. These guys right now are 5-2. This is a division rivalry game. Baltimore is a half game back. Pittsburgh, like I said, got the impressive win with Palomalu, in my opinion, making a play of the week when he punched the ball into the end zone to allow his team to score, which was probably the game-winning touchdown if he had not done that. Now, Pittsburgh controlled New England. They shut down that offensive attack.
They sold it.
This is the thing, though. Baltimore isn't an offensive team. They're a defensive team. Baltimore is going to come out there, smack him in the mouth. Pittsburgh is going to come out there, smack him in the mouth. This is the key, though. The first game that they played, Ed Reed had his way in that secondary. Ed Reed made big plays. Ray Lewis made big plays. The defensive line got to Ben Roethlisberger. They look frustrated. Fast forward to this week. Neither team is still doing anything great offensively. Joe Flacco has been less than stellar this year. He has managed the game, but he's not been the quarterback that everybody expected him to be. Baltimore coming off this bye week, they're going to be rested. Those old bodies got some new life in them. Granted, it's just a week, but you know these guys are going to come out there ready to play. both of these teams are ranked 1 and 2 in total defense. So you pretty much expect a low-scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if the game ended up being 3-2 as the final score. But Baltimore had that tough game against Jacksonville, which nobody expected them to lose by, 4 field goals. Literally, that's all they got with 4 field goals. I hope that they can find a way to bounce back from this game. I mean, because Jacksonville isn't the most impressive team that we have in the National Football League, but at the same time, when you look at that game, the offense just sputtered. It's not like that it's not like Jacksonville did anything spectacular. It's just that the offense that they had was non-existent. So as you look at this game, what do you think is going to happen?
Baltimore is the exact opposite of New England. Mm-hmm. Their defense is world-class, championship caliber, but their offense is pretty much non-existent. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh has found a nice medium. They're good defense.
Great defense.
Great defense.
That's a great defense.
Offense is always improving. That being said, for some reason I just have a feeling that Baltimore is going to win. Just because. I mean, this is just a just because game.
This is what it's going to come down to. The two things that wins football games: running the ball and defense. Both teams can run the ball. Both teams have great defenses. To me, it's going to be how Baltimore responds after that loss to a less than impressive Jacksonville team. In my opinion, I actually think that this game will come down to who manages the ball better, who controls the clock. It's not as much as scoring points this game, because we know there's not going to be a lot of points scored. But getting the ball up and down the field, wearing out the other team's defense, that's going to be the key. The offense has to manage the game for both sides of this. Like we all know that the Baltimore team is a little bit older. So Ben Roethlisberger, in my opinion, can come out there. He can manage the clock. He can keep that defense out there as long as possible, keep the time of possession up, wear that defense down, and then in return, that Pittsburgh defense is going to have to come out there and get the ball back to stop Baltimore's offense from doing whatever they can. Because in my opinion, that Baltimore offense, like I said, after last week's game, is still suspect. In my personal opinion, I'm going to give this game, as much as I hate to say it, I'm going to give it to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh, this is pretty much my one concern about Pittsburgh. How are they acting? How are they feeling after the big win against New England? Are they going to come into this game thinking that they're like King Arthur or something, coming to the game thinking, oh, we're the best, y'all got lucky week 1? Because if they come in there with that mindset, they might just get punched in the mouth like they did in week 1.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising, because we got to remember now, week 1 game, it was the defense that was scoring. It was the defense scoring all the points for this Baltimore team. It wasn't like the offense did anything spectacular, but that defense showed up. Ed Reed got them points, and they basically committed everything on that side of the ball. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, even though that was week 1, this is another week. The offense has gotten it going. Both teams are a little bit rusty, but I'm still going to give this game to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pretty much going the same way, but I would not be surprised if Baltimore did a repeat performance in week 1.
All right. Well, that's been this week 9 NFL preview. Larry Jenkins, Josh Bryan. We'll holler at y'all hopefully for week 10.
TL for president.
Peace.